Being a doctor, I think, gives me the chance to be of use to mankind. My parents and my sibling has played an extremely important role in my journey.
The challenges and how some days are really not yours and the marks are dipping.
I remember the first time my marks started falling down, I was in denial for a very long time. I couldn't accept that.
Hi. The legend has it that when you really want something from the universe, all of its cosmic entities align itself to give you that. One such story, one such success, one such testimonial is from our student of Allen Career Institute, Ruchir Gupta, who has just cleared his NEET 2025. Here in this interview, we're going to talk about his success story, his journey, his academic progress and everything beyond. Watch on.
Hi guys, I'm Ruchir Gupta, a student of Allen Career Institute. I had done my preparation here for the past 2 years for NEET UG 2025.
Hi Ruchir, so glad to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Same, my pleasure, ma'am.
So first of all, let's talk about your academic journey so far. How has it been?
Ever since I was quite young, let's say first grade or so, I was quite interested in studies. I would not say I would love to pore over books, but I was sure about the fact that I am more towards academics than sports. So I spent most of my time trying to study or learn something new, and that was my journey for the first 10 years of my life, that is till 10th grade. And the results are always on the good side itself, so I knew that my efforts were in the right direction. For 11th and 12th, I decided to come to Allen for my preparation for NEET UG 2025. It's because of the name, as well as I trusted the faculty here to give my studies the right direction. So that is about my academic journey.
That is so beautiful to hear. We don't often hear a lot of people saying I was always academically oriented. That's very nice that you had it figured out initially. Is that also why you chose NEET? What inspired you to come into the NEET field?
Well, that's a question which I'm asked often. It's got to do more with my mother. It should say parents, right? But more to do with my mother. She always had the dream to become a doctor. Her entire family is filled with doctors. So as to why I accepted it was because I love helping people, and being a doctor, I think, gives me the chance to be of use to mankind as well as help people, because I think helping others gives you greater satisfaction than doing anything for your own self.
That's such a nice thing to say. Thank you for even putting that in perspective. Now that you mention your mother, we want to talk about your parental influences. How have they played a role in your journey so far?
I can say wherever I stand today is because of my parents only. Yeah, family is important, extended family alright, but my parents and my sibling has played an extremely important role in my journey. All of us are always in the direction of academics. We were told to focus on studies because that's the right thing to do. That is the way you can progress ahead in life in the most comfortable manner. So that is why we were always told since the beginning that study is how you are bridging your gap between you and a beautiful future life. So ever since we were young, we were taught that studies is the safest option. And my parents have been of extremely great help in these 2 years, because this journey involves a lot of mental sacrifices, a lot of times when you feel that you are not enough, you are not able to give more energy to this particular endeavor. But then at these times, it is your family which steps up. They tell you with a reassuring pat that, yeah, we are there for you and we will support you no matter what. My parents have been that sun in my life, where there were times when the marks didn't come out well. I didn't feel happy about where I was going. I was unsure of where my life was heading towards. But my parents were that guiding light in my life, who always told me to stick to the procedure, put in my efforts, and they will always hold my back. So my parents hold the greatest role in this journey.
It's so glad that you have supporting parents and you talk almighty of them, which is such a nice, pleasant thing to hear. But you also spoke about the challenges and how some days are really not yours and the marks are dipping. How did you cope through those bad days?
Over here, I would say that both my parents as well as the Allen faculty have played a very important role. I know they have been doing this for the past 25 years, but when a new child comes into Allen or starts the 11th, 12th journey, they always have the self-doubt that, is it only me? Is it only me whose marks are dipping down, or feeling that we are not doing enough? They have gone through this, and so they have the rightful experience. So they guide us. I remember the first time my marks started falling down, I was in denial for a very long time. I couldn't accept that this can actually happen to me. I thought it will be a safe, smooth journey, everything is all hunky dory, but that's not the case. It's a 2-year journey for a reason. So at those times, my parents and the Allen faculty stepped up. They told me that, yeah, you will have certain bad days where things will not go as you want them to. But those days can anytime happen. They will happen in future life even more so. So this is a good learning pavement for you to advertise your skills to the world alongside studies. So I also got to do a lot of more activities besides studying, because it is not only studies which gets you to greater places in life. So they told me to engage my interests elsewhere, to divert my mind in these situations, and also they were always motivators. They told me that I will get through this, and I'm truly grateful to them for doing that.
All right. When you talk about the faculty here and your parents' support, it's just it makes us swell in pride that you got that kind of support and you diversified your hobbies and all of that. Let's talk a little more about the bonds that you share with the faculty and your peer group at Allen. How did that feel like for the 2 years?
Well, we always hear the fact that it's a coaching industry, you will find super competitive people and all who only wish for their good. But I think over here in Alan, my class especially, we shared a bond which transcended just studies. We spoke so much beyond studies about life in general. We spoke about our struggles. We shared what we went through so that the others could fare better. So we spoke about what we could do better in each other. We found certain aspects where all of us lagged, where we could work together. So I think my class especially, we worked hand in hand to improve all of our performances all together. When it comes to the faculty, I was extremely lucky. I have gotten some of the best teachers I have ever known all throughout my life. Physics was a subject which was never my forte, or I wasn't highly interested either. But my physics mentor was probably the best feature I have ever found in such a long time of mine. He knew that I wasn't very inclined towards physics, but he made a point that I was clear in my head regarding what I was doing. He didn't make it a point to force things upon me, but rather slowly and gradually learn step by step and enjoy the process. And now I can tell you, I enjoyed physics the most learning in these 2 years because of the environment I got. Chemistry was my strength, and the teachers worked on it. They made it better for me, and I still love chemistry a lot. Biology, I think, is every NEET aspirant's goal, ambition. It's dream for everyone. So biology is always interesting. The teachers just made it so much more easier to visualize, understand, as well as comprehend what was being conveyed. And I think that is the prime reason why I am more interested to go now in my 5-year MBBS journey to venture out, learn more about biology.
Wow. So the importance of a great peer group and a great faculty, working together on your strengths and your weaknesses really does play a huge, huge role, like you said. Talking about the challenges, you talked about physics not being your cup of tea, but then, chemistry was your strength. So it is a given that all students can't excel everywhere equally. So there would be days when you are, slightly lacking in a few subjects. Some subjects are on the top of your radar. So how do you balance between and kind of reach a balance in your studying?
Well, I always knew that physics was something which I had to give more time to. So when the teachers taught concepts, I laid extra emphasis on physics on that particular day to make sure at least my portion is covered for that particular day. Chemistry, I could go at my own pace. I wasn't really rushed by how the teachers were going about. But one more thing which I would also urge future people to keep in mind, don't take bio lightly. You can always say that bio can be done through 1 day preparation. That doesn't happen. When bio is tricky, bio can take you for a toss. So biology is a subject which you should pay attention to, and that was one highlight of my preparation. I probably gave the most painstaking effort to biology because it is NCRT after all, but NCRT also is not easy. You need to give effort to it. So I would say I spent time on my strengths. I paid extra attention to my weaknesses, but I made sure to get my basics cleared, because only when your basics are clear, you can get through the more complicated situations.
Right. That's very, very insightful advice. Thank you for sharing that, and we will definitely keep that in mind. Walk us through your daily routine. Like, what did your day look like on a normal class day or?
All right. So, through entirety of 11th and the beginning of 12th, when we had effective classes happening, my prime focus would be to finish all the tasks for that particular day, to finish what was taught to me in that particular day, as well as the homework assigned to me. I used to finish that, and also importantly revise a few sections of the previous days so that I'm in touch. And the tests which used to happen on a fortnightly or 3 week basis in the beginning helped me keep in touch with my studies and also know which topics I need to again go back to. So if you talk about my daily routine, we had classes, the classes timing kept changing based on our interests. The teachers used to plan the classes. Mostly it used to be from 10 to 5. So I wasn't a very late riser, so I used to wake up at 6:30 or 7 every day. So morning I used to get my 2 hour study schedule. When I used to come back at 5, I used to be pretty exhausted. So I used to give myself some time to relax, unwind, and I used to study at my convenience. If I did not feel like studying for a certain section of time, I avoided it at that time because it's a fact that if you study when you're not effective, you are just wasting time. Rather, give yourself a break. When you're effective, go back, study once again, and you will get double the efficiency, I would say. So when we had classes, it was difficult to squeeze in the time to revise also. But I used to make it a point to at least meet my daily targets, which I used to set when I used to wake up early in the morning. But when the classes ended, when we had time to self-study and revise, I used to make sure that I am finishing my target every day. It needn't be the 8, 9, 12, 13 hours. If my chapters are getting over in a substantial manner and I'm still in the mood to study, sure, I used to go ahead and finish more. But I used to make it a point to at least get my chapter block finished for a day. So I would say hours don't matter. It is how much you're covering in that particular day which is giving you the edge over the others.
We see that you're a huge advocate of quality over quantity, and we like that. So we understood that you compartmentalized your studies, which means that you had time for your hobbies. It was not like you were 13 hours into the routine of studying. But at the end of the day, you're a teenager. So how did you balance constant monotonous routine with hobbies and things that you were truly passionate about?
Alright. So I love music. I was an avid fan of cricket, still am, used to play as well. That had to be left for these 2 years because I didn't have company to play with, to be honest. If I had someone, surely I would go ahead and play even then. But I continued my passion for music. It could be listening to it or even singing along. So music was always my go-to de-stress coping mechanism. So whenever I felt low, whenever the test results didn't go my way, my first focus would be to talk to my parents, or if that was not the case, I used to spend time with music. And it wasn't that I had to dedicate this much time to studies. There were days when I did not feel like studies. Yeah, I spent those days giving myself some amount of relaxation, but I stayed away from social media as much as I could because social
Right.
media is a never ending pool.
That's very well said. That's a never ending pool. But when you talk about relaxation, there's a lot of people out there who think that when you relax for too long, then it's going to, negatively impact the journey or the result. What do you have to say to them? Because relaxation is very, very important and it's the most productive thing you can do for so many days. So, how do you guide them through that?
Well, I would just say one thing, don't sacrifice your sleep for anything. If you sacrifice your sleep, you are sacrificing on your own effort because only when you are well rested, only then you can strive to do harder and push harder on the next day. So don't compromise on sleep. Relaxation, well, it's subjective. Many people find relaxation in just sitting, talking to friends, chatting. For me, it was in the silent times I just sat alone or I just lay down on my couch. That was my relaxation time when I used to give some space to myself to not think anything. It was those times when you can introspect and then you can build your journey based on what you think. So I know it seems that in such a stressful environment, how do you have time to relax? You need to give yourself time to relax because if you don't relax, you're compromising on your efficiency.
That's that's very well put. Thank you for that perspective. Let's go back to talking about the exam, right? So this time, 2025, it was deemed to be the toughest paper of NEET. So how was your mindset like before and after writing the paper? Walk us through that day.
All right. So the exam starts at 5. We went there at 12 and we were quite confident it will go well because we had been giving a lot of mock tests and we had been talking a lot with our teachers, etc. They knew where to guide me, and all of us knew that it would go well because of my preparation status. When the paper came, yeah, there were some initial butterflies, but when I realized the paper was difficult, in the paper I didn't realize it was difficult for everyone. I thought it was only me, and I was extremely panicked in the exam situation. So yeah, I did a lot of things which you are not supposed to be doing, panicking, fretting over questions, but that's all in hindsight now. When I came out of the exam hall, I was shaking because of the way the exam was this year. When I came out, only then I got to know, yeah, it was the same for everyone. And I wouldn't say it instilled some hope in me, but I could at least breathe a bit more freely. But yeah, it took a good amount of time to get out of the zone that it was difficult. And this wasn't something we were expecting. So yeah, it's been a month now, and it still takes time to sink in. But that's how life is, I assume. You always learn through your challenges.
But here you are sitting and scoring the highest. So I think all is well that ends well. So that's a good thing to take back, I feel. But talk us through the panic stage when in the exam you started panicking and fretting over questions. How did you cope from that and get back to doing the questions efficiently?
Well, I have to give a big credit to Alan in this because knowing me, I was always someone who used to panic a lot over even the most mindless things. An exam which is nationwide, which is determining my future, yeah, sure, that is even more a panic situation. So when I started the paper and I found it to be challenging, especially the physics section of it, I wasn't getting anything done. It was a very stressful time for me. But then I told myself to calm down for a while. It took a lot of time to get back to my original mojo. Maybe I never reached it again. But because of the difficult papers that we had faced in Allen, I knew that, yeah, it can be done. It is not impossible. Maybe not the ideal situation, but it can be done. So at these times, you have to trust yourself. Go back to the basics. Advanced things don't work out in the most basic situations. Go back to the basics, stick to your route, and one by one, go through the base situations. Attempt the questions as if you're seeing them for the very first time, not worrying about what you originally might have thought about them. So that is how I managed to through 3 hours of the exam without bursting in a panic outburst, I assume.
That's a lot of credit to you because it's very, very easy to spiral down and you didn't. So, congratulations for that. And do you really think the papers that Alan gives you, the major test, the minor test, the result analysis that we do so rigorously and we take so seriously here, does that help you in the long run?
Well, papers are always a good way to estimate where you stand. It also gives you a good idea regarding what are your points to improve, especially when you have such a hard-working team of faculty beside you who is analyzing each and every step of yours. They will tell you where you can go better. So at these times, the test analysis of Allen comes in a lot of use, especially when you have someone who is looking back and is telling you what you might have overlooked. So we used to have tests extremely regularly, which can seem very hectic to a few people, but at the end of the day, only when you simulate every kind of situation can you actually face a real exam, because those 3 hours are extremely challenging. The mental tension, the tension that the paper might give you is all unparalleled. In these times, what we faced over the 2 years, learning through every single mistake we made, only made us an emotionally more strong person.
That's beautiful. That's well put. Thank you so much for saying that. Last couple of questions. How did you manage your emotions throughout? Because it's always up and downs when you see a paper that didn't go well or a paper that really went well. So how did you keep a check on that?
For times when, I know, happy times are easy to digest, you will also accept it pretty soon, but the more difficult times are the times when things don't go your way. You feel that the world is coming to an end because of one bad test, and trust me, all of us go through that. I have had tests where I used to cry over not getting the marks I wanted to, and seeing that everyone else has managed to do that. You are competing only with yourself. Only when you have a few bad days can you actually savor the good days. Because at the end of the day, no one can be perfect at all times. Only when you have gone through the lows can you actually experience the highs. So you need to realize that this is a journey. A journey can't be stagnant. It has to have its shades and ups and downs. So when it comes to your papers, yeah, and emotions especially, they will be on an all-time high in these 2 years. I remember there were times when I had random anger outbursts at my parents because I was not in the best state of mind. I assume everyone can have that. And my parents especially were extremely helpful to me. They never felt that why is he doing this? They always supported me with a silent tap on my shoulder that, yeah, it's normal. So you need to make sure you are surrounded by the right people in these 2 years who can manage your emotions well, and it's okay to let go at a few times. You need to realize you are human after all. You will have your fair share of problems and you will experience things. They're all normal. Learn to live with it, and that is how you live a complete life.
That's very, very reassuring. Last question, is there anything you'd want to advise the upcoming batches for NEET? And is there anything you want to, any gratitude, anybody you want to thank? This is your moment. Please take it away.
Thank you so much for that. Firstly, a huge thank you to my parents, to my faculty, to my family, and to everyone who was involved in this journey of mine. It could never have been the same without you guys. And I'm right now in a condition to speak here only because of you. So I'm grateful to you and will forever be that way. To the future aspirants, I will say a few things which I think are the key right now. I think I had two main lessons. First of all, expect the unexpected. You can have so many things in your head, and the future exam or even the minor test that you write here can be a total upset in those situations. What you have to do in such times is to believe in yourself. Trust yourself. If you don't trust yourself, trust the process. Trust your teachers because they are on the right track. They will always pull you back to the right track. So my second and last most important advice would be, everyone will tell you to study, but be happy. Because when you are happy, I'm telling you as a fact, your marks will only go up. Your marks can never come down if you are happy. Satisfaction is subjective, but only when you truly feel content with your preparation, with your effort. Only then can you, at the end of the day, retrospect and be like, yeah, I did something right. So my only advice to future aspirants would be happy, smile. Because at the end of the day now, the only thing I remember is one of my teachers saying, I always remember your smiling face. So keep smiling, stay happy. NEET is a journey which you all will pass through. So all the best for that. Keep striving hard and make sure to enjoy these small victories.
That's really well put and very validating. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Alan is so proud of your journey. We are so, we take pride in the fact that we could be a small part of your journey.
Huge
and we
part.
wish you, we wish you all the love, all the success, and all the happiness in the world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.